Good afternoon, and welcome to the RSPL Premier League Round Up and Preview. I'm Stephen Stanberry, and I'm here with Dwayne Richards from yardisports.com. Dwayne, how are you doing?
I'm good. Welcome back from your 1 week hiatus. It's good to be back with only 2 sets of games to close out the regular season. It's very, very intriguing.
Yes, I heard you had an interesting time with the substitute who got a starting berth last week.
Yes, he got a starting berth. He didn't do badly. We were able to close out the show with great aplomb. So yes,
but we have lots to talk about this week in the RSPL Premier League. Only one game was played over the weekend, and that was a rescheduled fixture. And we have 2 rounds of matches to go coming up on Wednesday and Sunday to end the league format of the competition this season. But before we get into it, we have to big up our sponsors. And the first one is the Premier League Clubs Association, the PLCA. Red Stripe, grab a Red Stripe, start the game. And yardisports.com, we are number 1. And Dwayne, the one game that was played on Sunday, you know what I'm going to say. Marvel here and then, Reno FC. You've been hanging on to what I said, straws or feathers or something light, that Reno can mathematically still have a chance of qualifying for the top 6. But they lost on Sunday to Marvelly here and then, an important win for Marvelly in their bid to avoid relegation. Philip Petty scoring in the 79th minute to hand the Marvelly squad all 3 points and see them move from the foot of the table into 11th position, but still they're in trouble. Your thoughts?
Yes, they are. Reno gave up the ghost on Sunday when they lost to Marvelly. The game seemed to me like it was heading for a stalemate. Petty came off the bench. He made all the difference. It was a beautifully struck free kick. It pinged off the upright. It is nothing the goalkeeper could have done about it. And Marvelly have given themselves a stay of execution, so to speak. What they've also done is made the relegation area very, very interesting, because now all 5 teams are in with a shot of escaping the drop, and all 5 teams are in with a serious possibility of not advancing and remaining in the league. So the next 2 sets of games will be all to play for the bottom 5 teams. But I think that Reno should have done better on Sunday. Craig Foster, he missed a chance, or should we say that George came up with a fantastic save. Either way, I would have bet my mortgage on Craig Foster putting away that chance to equalise late in the game. But George came up with a brilliant save to keep Marvelly in the Red Stripe Premier League for now. So they have given themselves a real lifeline. And like I said, it makes the midweek game on Wednesday and then the final regular season match on Sunday all the more interesting. And this is what you live for if you're a football fan. You want to know that the season goes all the way down to the wire. There are no games that are without merit. There are no games that you say, okay, we don't need to pay attention to this one. Every fixture matters all the way through to the end of the season. And like I said, hats off to the PLC. It was a stroke of genius to do what they've done.
All right. So you're ready to admit it that the top 6 is done and dusted?
Yes, it's done and dusted. I mean, mathematically, Reno can still get in.
Yes,
but when you look at it, they have a minus goal difference compared to Arnett +4. So they'd have to win both their games by a huge margin and hope that Arnett lose both games. And the fact that they're not scoring goals means that, the Fat Lady is just about singing on the top 6 right now.
All right. So all games as of Sunday, based on the game that Marvelly and Reno, that they had in hand on Sunday. Now all 12 teams, they've played 31 games so far this season. Before we go into the final 2 fixtures of the season, let's look at the table. Hewitt, they lead on 58 points. Humble Line, they're second on 57. Both teams occupying the top 2 position at the moment. And if they finish in that position, then they would go straight into the semi-finals and avoid the quarter-finals of the playoffs. In 3rd place, it's Tivoli Gardens on 52 points. Montego United in 4th, also on 52 points, but are behind on goal difference. Portmore United, they are 5th on 49 points. Arnett Gardens 6th on 45. To round out the top 6, Reno, they are 7th on 39 points. Harbourview are 8th on 35 points. Waterhouse 9th on 34. Boys Town 10th on 32. Marvelly in 11th position with 31. And the Jamalco rooted at the foot of the table with 29 points. Now, Jamalco, one of the form teams in going with the last two fixtures. They have picked up maximum 6 points from their last two games. The only other team to do that is Waterhouse. And let's look at the fixtures coming up on Wednesday. Marvelly Hughenden, they take on Humberline. Jamalco, they host Harbour View. Waterhouse tackles Portmore United. UA hosts Montego Bay United. Boys Town entertains Reno at Barbican. And Tivoli Gardens face Arnett Gardens at the Edward Siaga Sports Complex. While on Sunday, it's Portmore United versus UA at the Prison Oval. Humberline versus Tivoli at Effortville Community Centre. Montego Bay United versus Jamalco, that at the Montego Bay Sports Complex. Montego Bay versus Jamalco. Arnett Gardens versus Boys Town at the Anthony Spalding Sports Complex. Reno, they play at home to Waterhouse. And Harbour View, they take on Marvelly Hughenden at the Harbour View Stadium. And that's on Sunday. And both fixtures for Wednesday and Sunday will be played at 3:30 p.m. All games are scheduled to kick off at 3:30. So Dwayne, let's look at the games on for Wednesday.
Yes, let's start with the top one, Marvelly versus Humberline.
Marvelly in 11th, Humberline in second position. Humberline, they want to finish atop the standings and get that $1 million.
Absolutely. They have it all to play for. They have a point to prove. They want to win the Red Stripe Premier League trophy. That means winning the knockout rounds of the competition. But to end on top of the regular season would be a real feather in their cap. So I am expecting them to go to Constant Spring with the intentions to get 3 points against this Marvelly team that is struggling to stay in the league, which means that we'll get a blockbuster there. Both teams will be playing for 3 points. Neither team will be playing just to get a point or anything like that. It helps neither team to get a single point on Wednesday. So both teams will be going all out to get 3 points, and I'm expecting it to be a classic encounter from start to finish. We've been having rain, and we know that Constant Spring is famous for rain, and if it rains on Wednesday, that'll add another dynamic to the equation. But I'm expecting Humberline to get the better of Marvelly, and if they do, that will be it. That will be curtains for Marvelly and then in the Red Stripe Premier League.
You're sure, depending on the results elsewhere? Because if they should lose and Boys Town lose their game, then they still have a chance.
Yeah, they'll be hoping that teams around them, but at this point, you need to get everything. If you're not getting everything, then you will be clutching at straws. This is where it is. You have to get 3 points. Teams in the relegation zone right now, and it's 5 of them, they have to win on Wednesday. You don't want to leave it for Sunday. You have to win on Wednesday, or you're going to find that Sunday is going to be so nervous for everybody associated with these organizations that it may just go sideways.
I'm glad you say that, because the next fixture, Jamalco versus Harbour View. Harbour View, they're in 8th position, and Jamalco, they are in 12th. They are at the bottom of the table. Harbour View, they have 35 points, while Jamalco have 29 points. And Jamalco, they'll be hosting Harbour View on Wednesday. And Jamalco, they need to win this, because if they don't win, as you said, it's over. It's curtains for them.
Yes.
It's more so for them than Marvelly. And then if Jamalco loses on Wednesday, it will be over for them.
Absolutely. It will be completely over. It would have been one season in the Red Stripe Premier League for this team who are here for the very first time. The reality is, if they get 6 points from the last 2 games, they could actually usurp Harbour View, who is in 8th position. That is how the point standings are set up, because they are only trailing by 5 points. However, if Harbour View were to take a point off of them, that would condemn Jamalco and put them almost into safety. So they'll be aware of that and know that you travel to Wembley Centre of Excellence, you get a point, you are almost there. So that will be the first priority, not to lose this game and leave themselves to get the job done at home. So they'll be looking to play in that particular manner. I would, if I were the coach, set up to play on the counter-attack and secure a point and try and hit them on the counter-attack. That is the way I would set up. And I don't think it would be a bad idea based on the quality that they have.
Yes.
But this Harbour View team, they've brought in a number of senior players who have finally gotten it right for them, even though it's very late in the season. So I really truly don't see them sitting back against the Jamalco team that has no real history in the Premier League. I'm expecting them to actually take the game to their opponents in an effort to win and secure Premier League football. All
right. I have to correct myself. Mathematically, Jamalco, they are not out of it if they lose on Wednesday. Because if Boys Town, who are in 10th position, lose as well, then it goes down to the final day, because if Jamaica wins on the final day, they'll be on 32 points. And if Boys Town lose their 2 remaining fixtures, they'll remain on 32 points, but Jamaica would stay up based on goal difference. Because remember,
we've been
Boys
speaking
Town,
about that all season.
They have conceded a record 52 goals so far this season.
Yes.
The highest compared to the rest of the teams. The second highest is Jamaica. They conceded 42
10
goals.
less.
So Boys Town, they've conceded 52 goals and scored only 28 so far in the Red Stripe Premier League. Now, next up, Waterhouse versus Portmore United. This game being played at Drewsland on Wednesday as well, starting at 3:30. Waterhouse, they're 9th, while Portmore United, they're in 5th position. And I think Portmore, they would want to, even though they've already qualified for the playoffs, it's good to get a good seeding position, or you don't think that matters when it comes to, you'll just take whatever you get in the playoff round?
No, it matters. Teams match up differently against other teams, and they'll be looking at that and saying, which team would we prefer to play, which team would we prefer not to play against. So they'll be looking at that and looking to get points. The problem for Portmore is that they haven't won a game in a very long time.
Yes.
They've become the draw artists
since they came back from
the Red Stripe Premier League. So they'll be wanting to get wins under the belts. You want to get that confidence of getting wins heading into the knockout phase of the competition, which they've already qualified for. So I'm expecting them to give it all that they can in order to try and secure a win and ensure that they are in the right frame of mind going into the knockout phase of the competition. But Waterhouse, they are still fighting for their lives.
Yes, even though they are Waterhouse could see them,
even though they are
confirm their status
above
in
the
league,
relegation zone, they need to not leave it for Sunday and get the job done at home on Wednesday.
Because Sunday is an away game for them.
Right,
yes.
It's an away game, so you want to secure your future on Wednesday, and then you know that you won't have to worry too much on the last day of the season, which the situation was last year, where the last day of the season they had problems and they had to get a win against Boys Town.
Right, and we're up on the break now, so we'll take that and then come back and discuss more in the Red Stripe Premier League. Welcome back to the Red Stripe Premier League Roundup and a preview. Stephen Stanberry alongside Dwayne Richards from yardesports.com. And before the break, we looked at some of the games to come up on Wednesday, and we have another 3 set of games to discuss. But before we get into that, let's big up our sponsors once again. The Premier League Clubs Association, the PLCA, Red Stripe, grab a Red Stripe, start the game, and yardesports.com. We are number 1. And the games that we discussed in the first half of this show, Marvelly here and then, they will host Humber Line at the Constant Spring Complex. Jamaica will host Harbour View at the Wembley Centre of Excellence. Portmore United will travel to the Drewsland Stadium to take on Waterhouse. And the other 3 games on Wednesday, UA, they will entertain Montego Bay at the UA Mona Bowl. Boys Town hosts Reno at the Barbican Football Field, while Tivoli entertains Arnett Gardens at the Edward Siaga Sports Complex. Now, Dwayne, I know this one piques your interest. UA, the league leaders, and the team you want to finish atop the table, as well as want to win their overall title, coming up against the defending champions on Wednesday. Montego Bay United, they're in 4th position on 52 points, while UA, they lead on 58.
Listen, the UWI winning the Red Stripe Premier League in their 2nd season would make for a very good TV movie, and they have Carmack up there. So I would think that if they won it, they'll just start production immediately. Yes. This is what you live for if you love sports, these type of Cinderella stories. Last year, they just failed to qualify for the knockout phase in their first year. This year, they're poised to at least win the regular season based on where they are. Their fate lies in their own hands. But to get to that, they have to get through 2 top 6 teams like themselves, one being the defending champions. They don't fear playing them, but the reality is this. Going up against the defending champions at this stage of the season is going to be a different kettle of fish. It's going to require more concentration than they've ever had since the start of this season. They're going to have to be fully focused from the first whistle,
yes,
because Montego Bay United will be coming to spoil their party. That's the reality. I am the coach of Montego Bay United. I'm going to tell them, listen, guys, we have to get stuck in from the first minute. We have to spoil this party. We cannot allow these newbies to come and take what is rightfully ours. So that would be the mindset that I would come.
Looking at Montego Bay, they're winless in their last 5 games. They've drawn their last 2 and lost the previous 3.
Yes, but you see, when you're motivated,
yes,
that is where you change the dynamics. When you throw your form out the window and you go fully focused, and that is where I would prepare my team. It wouldn't be more about the training ground, but more about the mentality to get it right on the mental level, to go to UWI to get the points. But at home, UWI are a force to be reckoned with, so it won't be easy, despite them being the defending champions. It won't be easy to go to the UWI and take points off of them. So this makes it so much such an intriguing contest, and that's why I'm saying all these 6 games on Wednesday. I mean, you would want to watch all 6 games. Unfortunately, all of them are being played at the same time. So this is another match that I am looking at. I'm saying I want to be at this game and to see, because this will be an acid test for UWI. If they can get through this, then they will be bubbling with confidence going into the semi-final round, because this would put them into the semi-final round effectively. So they won't have to think about a quarter-final round. They just prepare for the semi-finals. And the confidence that would come with a win against Mobe United at this point in the season would be fantastic.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to a very good game here. I think Dwayne Ambersley will be a key figure for Montego Bay United. He is the coach on the field for the defending champions. But the whole UWI team, they'll bring it. You can be rest assured they'll bring it. And in Amal Knight, they have, in my opinion, the best goalkeeper in the league. So you can expect them to be rock solid at the back as well. So it will be a very, very good game.
Yes. It's only a pity this isn't TV, because I'm sure if we were on TV, the viewers would see how passionate you are discussing UWI. Next up, Boys Town, a team that Dwayne and I wrote off earlier in the season. They will play Reno FC at the Barbican football field. And now Boys Town, they are in 10th position after 4 games. After winning their 4 games, they lost in their last outing. While Reno, they had a chance, still have a chance of qualifying for the top 6. Call this one, Dwayne. Boys Town to get the 3 points?
It's mathematics, and that is the only way that Reno can get in. I don't see them getting in. I think that having given up the ghost on Sunday, in my opinion, they won't be as motivated as they would need to be, because that loss really, really cost them. And you looked at the body language at the end of the game, you could tell how much the entire organization realized how big that loss was. Boys Town, they are fully motivated. We have learned our lesson.
Yes.
Write them off at your own peril. This team is the team that knows how to... They live for this. To escape the relegation zone. They live for this. Andrew Price, he knows how to get the best out of his team at the latter part of the season. He's done it time and time again. I will not condemn this team ever again until it's completely done. So don't ask me again. Okay? Yeah, so I'm saying that I'm going with a win for Boys Town on Wednesday at the Barbican Complex. They've made it their home. They're comfortable there now. And I think that they're motivated enough to get 3 points, which will just about see them there. They know this. They know that a win on Wednesday puts them within touching distance of remaining in the Red Stripe Premier League. It is their sole objective at this point in time. So I expect them to be getting 3 points at home against a Reno team that I think will be very deflated based on the last performance yesterday.
All right, and the final game on Wednesday, Tivoli Gardens versus Arnett Gardens at the Edward Siaga Sports Complex. What's there to say about this game?
This game needs no introduction.
Yes.
This is a West Kingston derby. But Arnett Gardens and Tivoli Gardens could just match up in the quarterfinal round. So this could be a dress rehearsal for the knockout phase of the competition.
Yeah.
Both sets of team managers will be aware of this, and as a result, it'll add to the intrigue of this contest, because they'll say, okay, we're safe, we don't have to worry about not playing playoff football, but you don't want to give up anything to your opponents at this point in time in the season. So Arnett will be ready, Tivoli will be ready, but the one difference, I think, is the fact that the Tivoli Gardens head coach is not there. He's abroad studying, and as a result, his assistant coach has taken over the helm, and Tivoli has not looked the same without him. And it says to me what I've already known, that the impact of Omar Edwards cannot be understated on the Tivoli Gardens team. He's away for the rest of the season. So the question is, how will the organization cope with him being away? Can they still get it together and push through and make it happen? Because we've seen them slip away. They were right at the top.
Yes, right.
We thought that they would be one of the teams that were battling for top place. It doesn't look like it anymore. They're 6 points behind
their last 3 games.
Yes, they've lost 3 out of 4 games and add a draw to that. So they've fallen off of the kind of form that you wanted to see from them. But this game is against a fierce rival in Arnott Gardens. They'll be up for it, but they also miss German Teddy Johnson.
Yes.
He picked up an injury in the Jackie Bell knockout on Thursday night. He says it's a hamstring tear. We don't know how long he'll be out for the season. This also adds a little bit of intrigue to the goal scoring charts, which we can talk about later. But missing Teddy Johnson at this point in the season is a big, big thing for the Tivoli Gardens outfit.
Right, and now we've discussed all the 6 matches that will be played on Wednesday. So let's run through them again. Marvella, they'll take on Humble Lion. Jamaica, they'll face Harbourview. Waterhouse versus Portmore United. UA versus Montego Bay United. Boys Town versus Reno. And Tivoli Gardens versus Arnott Gardens. Now, Dwayne, I'm going back to the relegation battle. I'm going to drop about 3 teams in this one. Boys Town, Marvella, Hughenden, and Jamaica. Reason why I'm saying that, earlier in the season, you said both promoted teams would survive, and we're 2 games away, and you have to call it today, because the next time we're here, this part of the season will be over. We'll be finished, and we'll know who will be playing parish football next season. So, Boys Town, their final 2 fixtures, they will play at home on Wednesday versus Reno, and then they'll play away to Arnott Gardens on Sunday. Marvella, they will play at home to Humble Lion on Wednesday. Then they will play away to Harbourview on Sunday. Jamaica, they will play at home to Harbourview on Wednesday. And then they will play
the defending champions
to Montego Bay United on Sunday.
Based on the fixture list, I think that both the promoted teams have it the hardest of all the teams that are still battling for survival, and as such, my aspirations that they would have stayed up there through the window. I think that the top 10 now are the teams that will remain, that will play Premier League football next year. And sadly, I think that Marvella, Hughenden and Jamaica will return to parish football to rethink and to regroup and try again to return. It's unfortunate, but it's football, and they had it right at the start of the season. But both organizations have gone through a whole lot in the back room. We've seen Marvella change coaches 3 times. And Jamaica, they've brought in a number of other coaches to try and assist the current head coach, and it has not worked for either organization. And as such, they've slipped away. When you think of how well Jamaica was playing early in the season, and that they were actually at the top of the Red Stripe Premier League, to see them now at the rock bottom with 2 games to go, it's mind-boggling. But it's the game of football, and you have to play it on the field every match day. It's not played anywhere else. And they would have learned a lot of lessons if either of these two teams can actually escape the relegation zone over the last 2 match days, and we come back here next week Monday and speak about them still being in the league. Then it would be hats off to everybody who made it possible. But for now, based on what they both have up to come up against in the next 2 match days, I don't see them being able to survive. But it's football. They go out there hunting 6 points, both teams, and if they can bring it off, then it would be also a thing of dreams.
Yes. All right, going to the playoff format now, and then we wrap up. But I want to get this out of the way before we head into the playoffs, before we know who will playing who. Who will win the Premier League? I say one of the top 2 teams as they stand at the moment. One of the top 2 between Humble Lion and UA. I'm putting my neck out there and say one of those 2 teams will win the Premier League. So I need you to take some risk this season.
I remember ruling out Montego Bay United a couple of seasons ago. I couldn't see them winning, and they went to the final and hammered Waterhouse.
Yes.
I mean, Waterhouse was unsung that season. They looked imperious. They hadn't lost a game for the entire year, from January all the way down to the playoffs.
Yes.
They had been clean as a whistle, and they lost the game. That being said, I am going with my team, the fairy tale team, UWI. I want
I
it.
hope your emotions not clouding your
I
judgment.
want it more than I can say specifically that it will happen. But what I've seen from the UAE, if they continue to play the way they've done, they can get the job done. So I'm backing UAE to win the Red Stripe Premier League this season.
All right, this season, and we're out of time. And the next time we'll be here is next week, Monday, when we'll say goodbye to two teams in the Red Stripe Premier League. But before we go, let's big up our sponsors. The Premier League Clubs Association, the PLCA, Red Stripe, grow Red Stripe, start the game, and yardesports.com. Yarde Sports is Jamaica's #1 sports website, featuring Jamaican and international sports stories. At Yarde Sports, we tell the untold Jamaican sports stories, as well as unveil hidden Jamaican sporting talents. For the best in sports, for detailed coverage, for the best images and information of Jamaican athletes locally and globally, it's Yarde Sports, yardesports.com. We are #1. And one final thing before we go, you can hear updates from all the games in the Red Stripe Premier League on KLAS Wednesday afternoon. So we'll have updates from all 6 games. So thanks to Dwayne Richards from yardesports.com. I'm Stephen Stanberry.